All right, guys, what is going on? Goofy Rexy here, and wanted to talk about this subject today, and it's surrounded around the War Store. And so if you guys haven't seen already in game, or if you haven't realized it, we got this in-game mail 2 days ago. Kestra's going to be going to the premium ores, but also that Cole Obsidian is going to be going to the War Store, and he's actually there right now. Now, what we were not able to see, which also transpired as well, was this information right here, which actually went out in today, which is probably going to be yesterday for you. But Sreemer mentioned that this wasn't in the inbox message, but Nobu was removed from the War Store when Cole was added to the War Store. So this is they're kind of fulfilling their statement, right? Their promise when that they were going to start to cycle out some of those older characters. They mentioned more minions though, or that's what we were expecting. We were expecting minions. I wouldn't necessarily consider Nobu to be a minion character, but I guess considering that he does have a node, it's not necessary for him to be in the store. The previous character that they removed before that, I believe, was a Ravager Bruiser. So they are, to a certain extent, fulfilling their promise. I almost said prophecy. They're fulfilling their promise that they said here when they're going to kind of cycle out the characters from that store. But regardless of whatever they're doing right now, they're adding more characters to the store, and the War Store is really kind of beginning to get extremely crowded. Now, when I say crowded, I'm not necessarily talking about the quantity of characters. I'm talking about the quality of characters that are currently in the War Store. So I took some time today and I went through and I used my favorite, because I don't use it for anything else, my versus battle favorites, and sort of highlighted the characters that I at least remember off the top of my head that are currently in the War Store right now. And it's really kind of astonishing to a certain extent when you kind of like really map it out. So there's actually only 12 characters that I can remember that are actually in the War Store. You have Sinister, Carnage, Ghost, Minerva, Cole Obsidian, Longshot, X-23, Sif, Cable, Graviton, Shield Op, and of course Hydra Sniper. So those are the characters that I remember that are currently in the War Store. So when we talk about the War Store being crowded, we're not necessarily saying that the amount of characters that are there, because if you compare to the other stores, the Raid Store, there's more characters there. The Blitz Store, there's more characters there. The Arena Store, it seems as if though there's a lot more characters there now with this new sort of system that they have in place. The War Store is crowded because of all the things that are currently in the War Store. Top tier quality characters: Sinister, who's a great Dark Dimension character, DD2, DD3, DD4, great character. Carnage, a part of the Symbiote team, which, by the way, the rest of the Symbiote team, they're tied towards a lot of other areas where it's kind of hard to get them anyways, right? Or get them to. The Milestone Orb for Symbiote Spider-Man, soon to be the Milestone Orb 2. You have the Premium Orb where Anti-Venom went into that orb. And I literally, to this very day, since he's been added, I have not seen a AV drop in that Premium Orb whatsoever. We have Ghost. Let's move on from Symbiotes. We have Ghost, who's also in the War Store. Minerva, who's a good character in the War Store. Now, Cole Obsidian, to me moved over to the War Store. I don't really know what the purpose of that is. Black Order, while they're still a great team, overall, in my opinion, Cole is not that important anymore. It's really about the other three characters, right? It's Ebony Maw, it's Proxima, it's Thanos. Those are characters that are a little bit more plug and play. Black Order is still a good team in the game. Still think that they're worth investing into, but Cole is just not the character that you really need to go out of your way to try to get anymore. Longshot, we know now, obviously unlocks Adam Warlock, also individually great. You team him up with Shatterstar, he becomes even better. X-23, another character you need for a legendary unlock. Sif, you need it for a legendary unlock. And whether or not Black Bolt is a top tier legendary in this game, you still need him to unlock Ebony Maw, so therefore there's relevance and importance there. Cable is there. I don't know why he's there. He already has a node, so this is probably one of those characters that they could drop. And then you have Graviton, Shield Op, and Hydra Sniper, which we don't really need to talk about those there. But here we talked about essentially 8 characters that are really, or let's say 7 characters that are really kind of important characters that you need to get shards on. And that's not even we're just talking about characters. There's also other stuff that's in the store too. There's gear pieces, right? So you have your hero uniques, your G14 pieces, you have your G15 pieces, and they've done some things to make this a little bit easier to get into Dark Dimension 4. Sure, you have these G15 pieces here where you can grab 4 of them, but they never made that change to the the G15, they never made the change to the G14 pieces, right? So the G14 pieces, they still have that too. And I know you might say, well, you can farm those pieces in the Doom campaigns. Well, let's keep in mind that players who are finishing Dark Dimension 2, they're not going to be able to get all the way through Chapter 3 in the Doom campaign for a long while. You kind of do need some essential characters, and you do need some levels and gear in order to be able to get that done. So I still think that as an option, you should have also, if you're going to increase this, you should have also increased this as well. And then, like I said, the hero uniques are there. But a few things that I would like to see them do that would actually change sort of the dynamic in the War Store and might make it feel a little bit better. So for me, I think the obvious one is adding an additional slot here. I think if you're going to go on this rotation where you have these 3 characters, being that there's so many characters that are so valuable and important in the War Store, I would like to see them add an additional slot. And I think that one of the ways that they would actually be able to free up some of those slots is if they actually change some things that are currently in the War Store right now. If we scroll all the way down here, there is currently blue gear in the War Store. Why is there blue gear in the War Store? I hope no player is grabbing blue gear from the War Store. Your war currency is extremely valuable. Please do not waste that on blue gear. But also, Marvel Strike Force, Scopely, take out the blue gear out of the War Store. Maybe you would be able to free up another slot so that players can actually get more access to characters on a quicker rotation, in a quicker period, a time period. Just considering how the quality of characters that you currently have in the War Store. I also thought about this a while ago, but every single store right now has a character orb, and trust me, I know what I'm saying, and it's scary to even process this right now because it's another way, right, where they'll probably make it astronomical if they ever went in this direction in terms of the amount of credits that you'll need to open up these war orbs. I'm already regretting saying it, but at least if they produced a war orb with less credits needed, maybe 900 credits. Oh God, why am I even giving them a freaking number? But at least give us more of an option here, or give us the option whether or not we want to open up a character orb for some of these war characters. And this is kind of like very minuscule to me, but I think another way that they could also make things. So if I'm a new player right now coming into Marvel Strike Force and I want to know how to get Ghost, if I want to know how to get X-23, unless I see them in the store, I don't know that they're actually there. So I would like to see them also as well add an information tab. So of course here in the arena store, you can kind of see every character that's available. If you go into the orb, the only character that you can't see obviously is a character that's at the boosted drop rate, which is Shatterstar, but you can see the characters that are there. If you go to the raid store, there's this little eye icon that you could click on. You can see what characters are available to grab in the raid store. And in the boot store, same thing, orbs. And then also in the store, you can see the characters that are available there. But if I'm a new player coming to Marvel Strike Force right now, and I'm going through the War Store, I literally have no idea what characters are actually available in the War Store unless I just actually see them. Or if I watch YouTube content where I'm telling somebody to go farm XYZ character here in the War Store. So I honestly think that these are changes that could easily be made. Add an additional slot, remove the blue gear. There's really no reason for you to have blue gear in that store. I would also, I slightly sort of mentioned this, or I talked about it, but I never made it as an actual suggestion. But I think increasing the amount of G14 pieces that you can get in the store, just like how you've increased the G15 pieces in the store, I think would also be very, very, very valuable for players in this game, and will probably give a little bit more value here because there are a lot of players who are just finishing Dark Dimension 2 and are looking to get those pieces for Dark Dimension 3 and only being able to get 2 of them while you can get 4 of these. I think it's just not fully thinking about the entirety of your player base. A character orb, I think, will also be one that will be really helpful as well. I think that will make some changes. And yes, of course, removing some of the characters that are there. There's no reason for Cable to be there. You don't need to have Hydra Sniper there. You don't need to have Shield Operative there. But there got to be one or so character that's probably not relevant to the war story that you got to keep, right, to make RNG, which I completely understand. But I do think that some of those characters really kind of, they could kick rocks. But listen, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Curious to hear your thoughts on what suggestions you think they could do to the war store to improve it, that can make it a little bit better. I think one of the obvious ones is give us more war store credits. Find a way to do that. But I think that may be going a little bit too far and not realistic of an expectation from him. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already done so already. Check the links down below. Join my Discord. Follow me on Twitch where I stream MSF content weekly. Facebook, Twitter is down below. Amazon coins, guys. Save yourself some money here on your mobile game in-game purchases, guys. Check that link out as well. Patreon. Appreciate you guys so much. Y'all be blessed and y'all be safe. Woo! War store changes, baby. Let's get it. Watch them not listen to anything that I just said, because they don't care. They don't care about me. That's what it is. It's the reality. But I tried. Everybody, I tried. I did. I tried it. Let's see what happens.